Good morning. It's Monday, March 15th, excuse me. Today for Minnesota Studies, we're going to be looking at current reservation issues of the Dakota people. And so we'll be really focusing on, before we jump into our summative, we felt it would be very, very good for us to really kind of look at their experiences on these pieces of land as they are right now, before we discuss anything about the topic we're looking at for the rest of the week, which is what should we do with other land? Should we give more land back to the Dakota and Ojibwe? How would that work? Those types of things. And so that's really what you're going to be focusing on this week is, doing research related to that topic and discussing that with your peers as part of your summative to end Unit 3. But first and foremost, it is trimester 3. And so, we want to make sure that we start off on the right foot with trimester 3. So that's really what our warm-up is today. If you open up the checklist, go to your warm-up right here. It's really just kind of thinking about, what are 3 things you can do to be more successful or continue to be successful during trimester 3. So everybody should answer this at some point, because it's not just about whether or not you need to improve. It's also about how can you continue to be better as well if you did really well last trimester. So answer those, and then we can move into the lesson today. So if we go back to the checklist, the lesson is right here. It is a CAMI today. Once we open the CAMI, it looks like this today. And so our lesson really is, again, current reservation issues. So our central question, what problems are Native Americans facing on reservations around the country? And our learning target, I can analyze current reservation issues in the country today. We already talked about the warm-ups. We move into our mini lesson. Click here to open the map. It's just a map that shows the current reservations and communities within Minnesota. So if you do that, you can kind of see the different areas in which the Dakota and Ojibwe live today, right? The majority of the land, as we know, was taken because of treaties, but it gives you a little bit better perspective of what we're talking about here. One thing you might notice is that the Dakota reservations are a lot smaller, technically speaking, than those of the Ojibwe people, and a lot of that has to do with, you remember, at the end of the U.S.-Dakota War, the Dakota people were really kicked out of Minnesota. They were exiled, which means kicked out, okay? And so they've started to come back in the last 30 years or so, but they're settling in these areas in particular. We're going to talk about the lower Sioux community really for the rest of the week once we get going into our topic. But if you go back to the mini lesson, once you have that map open, just do a see, think, wonder real quick about it. As you're looking down and looking at that map, what do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? Something kind of simple with this, okay? Doesn't need to be super in-depth or super detailed. Just really focus on, what you're looking at. Then we move into our lesson. And this is where we're really going to look at different sources related to reservation issues today. And so you're going to read the title of each video that we have. You're going to make a prediction about what the video is going to be about or what's going to be shown. And then you're just going to take quick notes about what you think or what happened in the video, right? So, for example, this first clip is called America is a Stolen Country. So, look at the previewing prediction. Based on the video, I think it'll be about what? And give us your response here, okay? And then as you watch the video, answer the question, what are some of the major problems that Native Americans face on these reservations? Fill that out, and then go on to the next source and continue with the same thing. Look at the title of the video, preview, and then focus on completing the prompt. In this case, for video number 2, let's write down some of the words Native Americans used to describe the reservations in the circle map. Okay. And lastly, video clip number 3, we are still here. So based on that video, what do you think this is going to be about? And then the prompt again. How do you think young or Native Americans understand assimilation? And give us your response. To end today, the wrap-up is really simple. We're going to continue with our practice with discussion as part of your summative to end Unit 3. And so really thinking back to last week, we were looking at cell phones as kind of a way to practice. What was one thing that went well for you and one thing you think you could change moving forward? Because once we come back to class tomorrow, we will be jumping in with the same type of practice. So be ready for that. But that is your lesson today, and my hope is to see you tomorrow.